Faithful elephants. The cherry blossoms are in full bloom at the Ueno Zoo. Their petals are falling in the soft breeze and sparkling in the sun. Beneath the cherry trees, crowds of people are pushing to enter the zoo on such a beautiful day. Two elephants are outside performing the tricks for a lively audience. While blowing toy trumpets with their long trunks, the elephants walk along large wooden logs. Not far from the cheerful square, there stands a tombstone. Not many notice this monument for the animals that have died at the Ueno Zoo. It is quiet and peaceful here, and the sound warms every corner. One day, an employee of the zoo, while tenderly polishing a stone, told me a sad story of 3 elephants buried there. Today, he said, there are 3 elephants in the zoo, but years ago we had 3 different elephants here. Their names were John, Tonki, and Wanli. At that time, Japan was at war. Gradually, the war had become more and more severe. Bombs were dropped on Tokyo every day and night, like falling rain. What would happen if bombs hit the zoo? If the cages were broken and dangerous animals escaped to run wild through the city, it would be terrible. Therefore, by command of the army, all of the lions, tigers, leopards, bears, and big snakes were poisoned to death. By and by, it came time for the 3 elephants to be killed. They began with John. John loved potatoes, so the elephant keeper mixed poisoned potatoes with the good ones when it was time to feed him. John, however, was a very clever elephant. He ate the good potatoes, but each time he brought a poisoned potato to his mouth with his trunk, he threw it to the ground. Kerplunk! And it seems there is no other way, the zookeeper said. We must inject poison directly into his body. A large syringe, the kind used to give shots to horses, was prepared. But John's skin was too tough that the big needles broke off with a loud snap, one after the other. When this did not work, the keeper reluctantly decided to starve him to death. Poor John died 7 days later. Then it was Tonki and Wanli's turn to die. These 2 had always gazed at people with loving eyes. They were sweet and gentle-hearted. The zookeepers wanted so much to keep Tonki and Wanli alive that they thought of sending them to the zoo in Sendai, far north of Tokyo. But what if bombs fell on Sendai? What if the elephant got loose and ran wild there? What would happen then? Tonki and Wanli, too, were doomed to be killed at the Ueno Zoo, just like all the other animals. The elephant keeper stopped feeding Tonki and Wanli. As the day passed, the elephants became thinner and thinner, weaker and weaker. Whenever a keeper walked by their cage, they would stand up, tottering, as if to beg, "Give us something to eat! Please, give us water!" Their small loving eyes began to look like round rubber balls in a drooping, shrunk face. Their ears seemed too large for their bodies. The once big, strong elephant had become a sad shape. All this while, the elephant trainer loved them as if they were his own children. He could only pace in front of the cage and moan, "You poor, pitiful elephants." One day, Tonky and Willie lifted their heavy bodies, stretchered to their feet, and came close to the trainer. Squeezing out what little strength they had left, Tonky and Willie made their appeal. They stood on their hind leg and lifted the front legs up as high as they could. Then, raising the trunk high in the air, they did their banzai trick. Surely, the friend would reward them with food and water, as he used to do. The trainer could stand it no longer. "Oh, Tonky! Oh, Willie!" he wailed, and dashed to the food shed. He carried food and pails of water to them and threw it at their feet. "Here," he said, sobbing, and clung to the thin lad. "Eat your food. Please drink. Drink your water." All of other keepers pretended not to see what the trainer had done. No one said a word. The director of the zoo just sat very still, biting his lip and gazing at the top of his desk. No one was supposed to give the elephants any food. No one was supposed to give them any water. But everyone was hoping and praying that if the elephant could survive only one more day, the war might be over and the elephant would be saved. At last, Tonky and Willie could no longer move. They just lay on their side, hardly able to see the white cloud floating in the sky over the zoo. However, their eyes appeared clearer and more beautiful than ever. Seeing his beloved elephant die in this way, the elephant trainer felt as if his heart would break. He had no more courage to see them. All of the other keepers felt the same, and they, too, stayed away from the elephant's cage. Over 2 weeks later, Tonky and Willie would die. Both died leaning against the bar of the cage, with their trunks stretched high in the air, still trying to do the banzai trick for the people who once fed them. "The elephants are dead! They're dead!" screamed the elephant trainer as he ran into the office. He buried his head in his arm and cried, beating the desktop with his fist. The rest of the zookeeper ran to the elephant's cage and stumbled in. They took holds on Tonky and Willie's thin bodies, as if to shake them back to life. Everyone burst into tears, then stroked the elephant's leg and trunk in sorrow. Above them, in the bright blue sky, the angry roar of enemy planes returned. Bombs began to drop on Tokyo once more. Still clinging to the elephants, the zookeepers raised their fists to the sky and implored, "Stop the war! Stop the war! Stop all wars!" Later, when the bodies of the elephants were examined, nothing was found in the washed-up leg stomach, not even one drop of water. With tears in his eyes, the zookeeper finished his story. These 3 elephants, John, Tonky, and Willie, are now resting peacefully under this monument. He was still patting the tombstone tenderly as the cherry blossom fell on the grave, like snowflakes.